some people believe that it'll make no difference at all who wins this race. I'm not in that camp. I'm in the camp that Hillary Clinton is the establishment. I can't stand it. I want to fight against it, and I will fight against it. I fought against it in the primaries, and if she wins, I'll start the fight on day one, okay? Because I don't believe the establishment is going to bring us any change. Now, if you think that that proves, that's it, that's the end of the equation. Unfortunately, that is not the end of the equation, because there is someone else that is the other likely alternative, and his name is Donald Trump. Now, is he worse? That's a call you're going to have to make, but let me inform you of what he thinks before you make that call. So who might he put on the Supreme Court? Now, he put out a BS list earlier that was clearly made by other Republicans of 11 guys that are current sitting judges that he might consider. You think Donald Trump knows any of those judges? He doesn't know. He had a staffer put that together because it would be acceptable to conservatives. When he was asked earlier, way early in the process, who he would consider for a Supreme Court justice, he had said Judge Napolitano. Yes, the guy on Fox News Channel. Because all he does is watch TV. All he knows is his buddies. And so he's going to pick one of his buddies. And he knows Napolitano, and he sees him on TV. We're lucky he's not going to pick Judge Judy. Okay, so now the news report is, well, he's classed it up a little bit. He's not going to go with Napolitano. Two different sources, one inside the Thiel camp, one inside the Trump camp, saying he's considering Peter Thiel. Okay, I'm going to explain who Peter Thiel is in a second, but first let me give you the facts on this story. Donald Trump has made it clear he will nominate Peter Thiel to the Supreme Court if he wins the presidency. Thiel has told friends, according to a source close to the PayPal co-founder. So that's your source inside Thiel's camp saying that's what Trump told him. Now, the source inside the Trump camp also confirms it, but says, and as Huffington Post in this case explains, a separate source close to Trump, who has not spoken to Trump directly about Thiel being nominated to the court, cautioned that Trump's offers often fail to materialize in real life. Now, so that's very fair, and I give that to you as a caveat. Trump, he'll think that today, he'll think something else tomorrow. It's not like it wasn't real today. In his ADD mind, it was real that day. But somebody else would come in and say, why don't you make Roger Ailes Chief Justice? He'd be like, okay, that sounds like a good idea, I'll do that, right? So, but it's real enough that both camps are having these conversations. Okay. And besides, Trump never thinks a deal is real anyway. He prides himself on reneging on deals. Maybe he said that to Thiel's camp so that Thiel would go and give a speech about him at the RNC, which he did. Okay. Now, of course, Peter Thiel's side says, no. Peter hasn't had any conversations about a Supreme Court nomination, has no interest in the job. That's a very standard denial that you get from a spokesperson. Okay. But let's find out who Peter Thiel is, because I seem to be concerned about him. Should you be concerned? Okay. He has $2.7 billion. He's a famous investor out of Silicon Valley. Okay, God bless, good success. He was one of the first investors in Facebook. Nice job, okay? And I don't take that away from him. And there are different things that I've, defended him on. He's the one that took down Gawker. But what they did to him and what they did to Hulk Hogan was wrong, so I defended Peter Thiel on that. And I don't begrudge him the money that he's had. Now, some of the money he made, well, let me tell you. Thiel is a venture capitalist who co-founded the CIA-backed data mining firm Palantir in addition to PayPal. So PayPal you give them, Facebook you give them. Well, I could make a lot of money too if the CIA backs me on a data mining project and says, here's a ton of money to go spy on Americans. By the way, this guy's a libertarian. Unless he's making money off of the exact opposite ideology where they pry into all of our private lives. And hey, Gawker, don't pry into anybody's private lives. I'll put you out of business. Oh, how did I make money? By having a CIA deal where I pry into people's private lives. What hypocrisy. And, when asked why he thinks he's right, now this is not according to Peter Thiel, but to sources close to him, he thinks, well, I'm this rich, I must be right. Yeah, maybe so, maybe not. I don't find that evidence to be conclusive that you're right about everything, as you're about to see. So what does he believe? Now, conservatives, congratulations, you also get screwed over. You thought Donald Trump, oh, no, he's on my side. He'll give me a good religious guy who's pro-life, who's this, who's that. If nominated and confirmed, Thiel would be the first openly gay member of the court. Oops. Now, for me as a progressive, wonderful. That's a nice groundbreaking moment. Like I said, it's not a black and white issue. and Peter Thiel lives in the real world and not in a comic book world where he's just an evil guy or a wonderful guy, okay? So, but conservatives who thought you were going to get a, real conservative on the court, no. He's a libertarian, so some of the stuff you'll agree with, some of the stuff you will not. So, for example, in his 2014 book, 0 to 1, Thiel praised monopolies, arguing that competition destroys value rather than creating it. Wow, that's going to be news to a lot of conservatives. Really? Competition destroys value? Monopolies are great? Well, first, Adam Smith would disagree. Second of all, what we viewed to be conservative economic thinker would disagree. This guy is against the free market. He's like, hey, as long as I'm the one getting the monopolies are awesome. By the way, that is also not a libertarian ideology, but I don't think, but some libertarians might disagree. That one's a little bit more debatable in libertarian circles, definitely not debatable in conservative circles, let alone sane circles. Okay, now it gets worse. He wrote back in 2009, I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. Oh, so we're going to put a guy on the Supreme Court who doesn't believe in democracy. He says he's on the side of freedom. That's the freedom for him to get rich without you all getting in his business, right? We're going to put a guy on the Supreme Court who doesn't believe in democracy. You're thinking it can't get worse. It's about to. He also wrote, since 1920, the vast increase in welfare beneficiaries and the extension of the franchise to women, two constituencies that are notoriously tough for libertarians, have rendered the notion of capitalist democracy into an oxymoron. So let me break that down for you. So he's against capitalist democracy. He says that they made it an oxymoron, like that it can't exist. So hence, we got to lose the democracy part, right? Because when we have democracy, women get the right to vote. I didn't say, this is a story that comes out of the Trump camp and the Thiel camp. So this guy would go on the Supreme Court? A guy who thought it was a mistake for women to have the right to vote because it would interfere with his libertarian ideology and the profits he would make? Dude, you got $2.7 billion. Take a load off. You're going to be okay. Stop crying already. Oh, they're getting in the way of my libertarianism and my freedom without democracy. Why can't I crush the rest of you guys and take your rights away so I can have $2.8 billion? Okay, final one for you, Ann. On a funny note, he has invested into what people are calling Libertarian Island. Its real name is Seasteading Institute. And they figured, well, all the land is already taken and we'd like a libertarian utopia where we could all live in anarchy and do Lord of the Flies on ourselves. Okay, great. So we're going to, since that's all the land's taken, we're going to create an island in the sea. He has put over $1 million into this project, so it's real. And Jonathan Miles, a writer, has described it this way based on their website and their description. There would be no welfare. I get why libertarians and conservatives would be happy about that. Looser building codes, no minimum wage, and few restrictions on weapons. They're going to have looser building codes on an island they're building in the middle of the ocean. Please do that project. Please spend a lot of money doing that project. And please take all of your libertarian friends and put them on that island and weaponize all of them with very little laws and rules. That's a great idea. I beg of you to try it. And you know what, Peter Thiel? You could be a Supreme Court justice on that island and the president and the vice president. Have at it, Hoss. You get hours of more content if you're a TYT member.
Somebody go get a six-pack.
And let's all enjoy it together. TYTnetwork.com/join.